Guys, welcome back. It is your favorite Gimp with a Limp, and I'm here with a quick review video that I wasn't anticipating making, but in the process of setting up for a different war game, I ended up deciding I was going to go ahead and do a review video for some wargaming mats. All right, so I'm setting up for 148 Tactic, getting ready to film that, and I needed some ground terrain cover. Now, I used this mat, this neoprene mat you see here to my right, a couple times before. Fine, no problem with it. You guys can see it's just normal neoprene mat, but the texture's good, the image is good. Now this mat, I had got a while back, like a year or so ago. I saw it was a decent price on Amazon. I decided, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get this. I'm sure I'll have a use for it. And I tucked it away. Now, to be fair, the price is good on it. This is a 6x4 gaming mat, and it cost me like 40 bucks. And I looked it up, and it's still around about 40 bucks. Here's the problem, though. This is a company, it's called Melee Mats, right? Melee, the word Melee Mats. Now, I have another one of theirs that is a grayer type terrain, has some like rocky images and the like on it, and that one I used, and it's pretty good. You know, it was nothing to write home about, but it wasn't bad. Then I pulled out this one, so I wanted this here just for the comparison, so you guys could see it, and you see the image quality's fine. Now let's pull that out of the way, and you guys can see this, and the picture that they use for the advertisement shows this, but it has to be like a lower resolution image or something along those lines, because when it's blown up to this 4x6 size, it just looks so pixelated. Now, when you stand back from it, it's not horribly bad, but being right on top of it, all I can see is like little squares. I don't know how well the camera's picking it up, and the camera might not be picking it up for the second pretty severe problem that this mat has, and that is the fact that it is horribly glossy. I mean, you guys can see in it that just with my overhead lighting, and again, I use diffused lighting that is bouncing off the ceiling and coming down. There is no direct light on this. This is just a lit room, and you guys can see how much shine there is that. I mean, I can barely see the image from the angle I'm looking at, and just depending on what angle you're looking at, you're going to have this just glare coming on it. And I was like, you know, the colors are kind of garish, but I think I could make it work if it wasn't for this glossy coating that is on this. Now, on top of that, this is not vinyl, or this is not neoprene, rather. This is a vinyl mat, and it is nowhere near as, I can't even pull it up right now. Oh, if you guys can see that, nowhere near as sturdy as the neoprene. It'll tear easier, and on top of that, it'll chip. You'll get little tears in it. I have a little one over here that's kind of off camera. It's a white spot where you can tell some of the image peeled up, which means this thing the image will come peeling off of this in a very short period of time, because I haven't used this thing yet. This is directly me pulling it out of the tube, the cardboard tube it comes in, and putting it on the table. So you're sacrificing durability and definitely sacrificing image quality. Here's the thing. I'm not saying it's horrible mat. I think their other mats were better. Like I said, go check out my bolt action video series. I used one of their other mats, a grayer mat, in combination with this neoprene mat, and you can see the bits of that one. It was nowhere near as glossy and didn't have this type of effect on it, which is why I was more confident when I was getting this one. I don't know, maybe this image just doesn't do as well. Maybe they had a different resolution, whatever the case may be. But this is really just not a great gaming mat. Now, to be fair, though, I'm kind of getting what I'm paying for in the fact that this is a 4x6 gaming mat, If I got that neoprene, it would cost a penny. You know, it would cost a lot more to get it. Like Frontline Gaming, I know they do mats, and they're, what is it, 2x4, 4x4, 3x3, smaller game size. Their mats on a smaller size start at least 60, $70. So you would be paying much more for a mat of this size. If you're just looking for a cheap mat, just something to cover the table, this will service it. Just understand that you are getting some of those drawbacks. You are going to have a much greater chance of having the image start to tear over a period of time and come off, and the resolution is just a little bit lower. And because of that, you get this blocky, pixelated look to it. Again, I don't know how well that's showing up on camera, again, because of the glare, but you can see it. And part of it has to do with the fact that this is printed on vinyl, because the vinyl is kind of squarey. So you have the squares of the vinyl, and then the pixelation from the image not really being the right size to be printed onto something this size, because you can get this mat in multiple different sizes. So I'm wondering if they just used a single image and sized it depending on the size mat that you got, which means if you get the biggest size, then you're going to have the pixelated look to it, because they're just scaling it up. The resolution isn't right for the size that it's being printed on. I don't want to hate on Melee mats. I think this one just wasn't done well. Like I said, I have another one with them that I was perfectly happy with. I think vinyl can be okay. You just have to understand that you are getting drawbacks when you get a vinyl mat versus something like a neoprene mat, and the fact that the vinyl is going to be so much harder to roll up. It has a greater chance of tearing. The image has a greater chance of coming off. And then the image quality is just going to be depending on what they're printing on it. That has nothing to do with the vinyl itself. So honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do now, because this was my plan for 148 Tactic, to use this mat so I could give myself more space, because I wanted like a 3x5, and I was just going to let this dangle off the edges and have that be my size for my game. That would be more appropriate, because this is only a 3x3, and I don't think that's quite big enough for my purposes. What I might end up doing is just pulling this mat out and covering the majority of this one with that, just to reduce that glare, because y'all can't tell me that doesn't look so much better. The image quality is so much better. It looks so much more crisp. You can see what's actually printed on this. Plus, like, even just me looking at it, like here, I feel like I've got almost like a spotlight coming up at me, like, just, right in my face. And it's like the room dims down when I throw this back across, so it's not just glossy glaring at me. I was considering maybe trying to find some type of matte clear varnish, spray paint, something along those lines, with the hopes that might be able to take this sheen off of it. If you guys have any thoughts, if you have any experience, if that'll work or not, because I don't know whether or not that'll even stick to this, because this is very glossy, or if it will stick and then start to crack later or eat at the image. If you know, definitely put it in the comments. Let me know what you think to do, because I would like to try to salvage this mat if I could, so I could at least use it for something, because it is bigger than this other one that I have. But oh my god, it just So yeah, if you get a Melee mat, I would try to find reviews on the specific one that you're getting. The darker cobblestone one is fine. So I'm thinking it might be the darker mats have less of a gloss on it, something to that effect, because I didn't have issues, or at least I don't remember having issues with it. I'll have to pull it out and check it. All right, so I went and I grabbed the tube, and I'm not going to pull this mat out, because unfortunately enough, when they sent me this mat, they sent it in a smaller tube, and the smaller tube is just big enough for this mat. And if I pull this thing out, it will be a huge pain in the butt to get back in. But I'm looking down the center of it to just double check, and it does not have this glossy coating. I can actually feel it. There's a different coating on this one than there is on this one. So it seems like some of their mats have that issue and some do not. This is vinyl. It's the same material this one's made out of, but there is not that just glossy sheen coming off of this that you get on this guy. It just, you feel it. It's like buttery smooth, and here you don't have that. It has, hard to describe, more of a matte texture to it. So evidently it might just be this one. I just would recommend make sure you check around, find videos, find mine, someone else's, whoever, someone who's actually reviewed the specific mat that you're going to get, because cost per square foot, you can't beat the size gaming mat you can get for what you're paying. Like I said, this mat is $40 for a 4x6. That's unheard of. You're not going to get a 4x6 gaming mat anywhere for $40. So they're excellent on the price. But find the ones that don't have this gloss sheen and have better image quality, because the image quality on this one is it's blown up too much. It's too pixelated. From a distance, I think it'll do okay, but when you get up close, you're going to notice that effect. All right, that's going to be it for me. You guys stay tuned. I will have 148 Tactic. It is going up on here. I'm going to have to finagle it a little bit, but I want to try to make it look as good as I possibly can. And it would look good with this mat because that matches some of the terrain that I've put out. I went with a darker, more vibrant green because I wasn't anticipating using this gaming mat. So the hills and the rivers and the stuff that I've made work better with these colors than they do with these colors. So it's either I stand out or I have a glare. Now I got to figure out which way I'm gonna go with it. So yeah, definitely let me know if there's a matte varnish I can put on, take the sheen off. All right, that's gonna be it for me. You guys stay tuned. I will catch you in the next one.